Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stop for a moment. Just stop. Take a deep breath. Look at your life, not the fantasy life you've created in your head, not the Instagram version of yourself, but the real one. The one you see in the mirror every morning, the one you feel when you're alone at night. And I want you to ask yourself a question that's going to sting. How many days have you wasted? How many mornings did you wake up, roll over, grab your phone, scroll for an hour, and then tell yourself you'll start tomorrow? How many workouts have you skipped? How many opportunities have slipped away because you were too tired, too lazy, too comfortable? And here's the truth that nobody likes to face. Every day you miss is a day you will never get back. Life is a countdown. Every sunrise is one less you'll see. Every second is a second closer to the end. And what do most people do with that time? They treat it like it's infinite. They waste it like it's nothing. They burn it on distractions, excuses, and empty habits. But the people who rise, the people who dominate, the people who live with fire in their souls, they live by a rule: never miss a day. The power of daily discipline is the single greatest weapon you can carry in this life. It is not talent, it is not luck, it is not who your parents are or where you were born. The one thing that separates winners from losers is discipline. It is the ability to show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not, and do the things that need to be done. Most people in the world live by feelings. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel inspired, they try. If they feel happy, they move forward. But the moment those feelings disappear, their progress disappears with it. That is why they never win. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't ask questions. Discipline is the voice inside you that says, I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you're sad. I don't care if the world is against you. Get up, do it, push forward. That voice is what creates champions. When you practice daily discipline, you are training yourself to be unstoppable. Every day that you choose discipline over comfort, you're rewiring your brain, you're strengthening your willpower, and you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with greatness. Think about it. If you can't even control your own body, your own habits, your own schedule, how can you ever expect to control your destiny? If you can't command yourself to wake up on time, to train, to work, to study, to build, then the world will command you, and you will become a slave to circumstances. But when you master daily discipline, you stop being a slave and you start becoming the master. The power of daily discipline is not just about success. It's about freedom. Freedom from weakness, freedom from excuses, freedom from the chains that hold average people down. Every single day you stick to discipline, you are building a version of yourself that is stronger, sharper, and harder to break. People will look at you and wonder how you do it. They will think you have some secret. But the secret is simple. You never miss a day. That's the difference. It's not glamorous. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's discipline repeated daily. And if you want to live a life of power, if you want to build a future that others only dream about, you must decide right now that daily discipline is non-negotiable. Never miss a day, because discipline practiced daily will turn you into a person the world cannot ignore. Excuses are the chains that keep most people locked in mediocrity, while execution is the sword that cuts those chains and opens the path to success. Every single person in this world is presented with choices. You can either explain why you didn't do something, or you can do it. Excuses sound smart in your head. They feel comforting to your ego, but they produce nothing. Execution, on the other hand, doesn't need words. It doesn't need explanations. It just delivers results. The harsh truth is that the world does not care about your excuses. Life doesn't slow down because you were tired, because you had problems, because things weren't fair. The only thing life respects is execution. Most people are professional excuse makers. They have excuses for why they can't wake up early, why they can't start their business, why they can't go to the gym, why they can't break bad habits. They convince themselves that they are victims of circumstance, that their situation is special, that nobody understands how hard it is for them. But the truth is, their excuses are nothing but lies they keep repeating to themselves to justify weakness. On the other side of the spectrum, there are people who choose execution. These are the people who wake up before the sun, who work when they don't feel like it, who push through exhaustion and pain. They don't complain about how hard it is, they embrace it. They understand that life is not supposed to be easy. They understand that greatness only comes to those who execute no matter what. Execution is what builds your character. Every time you choose execution over excuses, you reinforce strength inside yourself. You prove to yourself that you are in control, not your feelings, not your comfort, not your laziness. And once you get addicted to execution, excuses start to disgust you. You begin to see them for what they are, poison. You realize that the gap between who you are and who you want to be can only be closed through relentless action. Talking won't get you there. Dreaming won't get you there. Excuses will keep you exactly where you are. Execution is the bridge to everything you desire. So the question is simple. Which side do you live on? The side that builds excuses, or the side that executes? You can't have both. You can't talk about wanting success while filling your days with reasons why you can't move forward. At some point, you must make a choice to shut down the noise in your head and act. The future doesn't belong to the people who explain why they couldn't. It belongs to the people who did it anyway. Every day you are faced with a choice, and that choice will define your destiny, excuses or execution. Weakness or strength, failure or victory, the answer should be clear. Execution is the only way forward because execution never lies. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are weak. They come and go like the weather. One day, you wake up and you feel inspired, ready to conquer the world. The next day, you wake up tired, distracted, unmotivated, and suddenly your progress stops. This is why people who rely on motivation never achieve lasting success. They live in a cycle of highs and lows, bursts of energy followed by long stretches of stagnation. But discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline is the code you live by, the standard you refuse to compromise on. Discipline means you do the work whether you feel like it or not. When you understand that discipline is superior to motivation, your whole life changes. You stop waiting for the perfect mood or the perfect time because you know those things don't exist. You build routines, you create systems, and you lock yourself into habits that force you to grow. Discipline turns you into someone unstoppable because no matter how you feel, your actions remain the same. You wake up early not because you're motivated, but because it's non-negotiable. You train hard not because you're inspired, but because it's your duty. You work on your goals every single day, not because you always want to, but because you refuse to be average. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the engine. A spark alone burns out quickly, but an engine keeps running for miles and miles. That is why the strongest people in the world are not the most motivated, they are the most disciplined. They mastered the art of controlling themselves. They don't rely on energy from the outside, they generate power from within. And once discipline becomes your identity, success becomes inevitable. Think about it. Every goal you've ever failed at wasn't because you lacked motivation in the beginning. It's because you lacked discipline to stay consistent when the excitement faded. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you moving when the path gets dark and difficult. Discipline doesn't make excuses, it doesn't complain, it doesn't stop. It executes relentlessly. And once you learn to lean on discipline instead of motivation, you no longer live at the mercy of your emotions. You live in control, so stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect song, the perfect speech, the perfect rush of energy to get you going. Decide to be disciplined. Decide that no matter how you feel, you will act. That is the difference between amateurs and professionals, between dreamers and achievers, between the weak and the strong. Discipline is the foundation of greatness. Motivation might make you feel good for a moment, but discipline will make you proud for a lifetime. Regret is the heaviest weight a human being can carry, and the worst part is that most people only feel its full strength when it's too late. You can recover from pain, you can recover from failure, you can recover from setbacks, but regret is permanent. It's the quiet voice that whispers in your head when you're alone, reminding you of all the chances you didn't take, the opportunities you ignored, the days you wasted. Nothing in this world is more painful than looking back at your life and realizing you could have been more. You could have done more, but you chose to stay comfortable instead. The weight of regret doesn't hit you in one moment. It builds slowly, day by day, with every excuse you make and every action you avoid. One skipped workout feels harmless, one wasted day seems small, one delayed decision looks like nothing. But over time, those missed moments pile up, and suddenly years are gone, opportunities are gone, and you realize you can never get them back. That's when regret becomes unbearable, because time is the only thing you can never buy back. You can rebuild money, you can rebuild strength, you can rebuild reputation, but you can never rebuild yesterday. The saddest part is that people often choose regret over effort because effort feels hard in the moment, while regret feels invisible. Discipline stings now, but regret stings forever. You might hate the pain of pushing yourself, you might hate the discomfort of discipline, but nothing compares to the agony of looking back and wishing you had given more. Regret doesn't just live in your mind, it lives in your soul. It becomes a shadow that follows you everywhere, a constant reminder that you betrayed yourself. That is why you must understand the weight of regret before you carry it. You must use the fear of regret as fuel. When you wake up tired and your mind tells you to quit, remind yourself that regret will hurt more. When you want to skip the work, remember that regret never forgets. When you feel weak, think of the future version of yourself sitting in silence, hating the fact that you missed your chance. Let that image terrify you because it should. The truth is, regret is optional. You don't have to live with it if you choose action. Every time you act with discipline, every time you choose execution, every time you push when it's hard, you are protecting yourself from regret. You are building a life where you can look back and say, I gave everything, I left nothing behind. That's the freedom everyone is chasing, but few are willing to earn. So remember this, the pain of effort is temporary, but the weight of regret lasts forever. Don't let regret be your story. Carry discipline now so you don't have to carry regret later. Greatness is not built in a single moment of glory. It is built in the thousands of invisible days that nobody claps for, nobody notices, and nobody celebrates. Consistency is the foundation of every empire, every champion, every legend. People think success comes from massive bursts of energy, some big breakthrough, or a miracle opportunity, but the truth is far simpler. Success comes from showing up every single day, stacking small wins, refusing to quit, and building momentum that cannot be stopped. Consistency is boring to most people, and that is exactly why most people never become great. They want excitement, they want instant results, they want to feel progress overnight. But greatness is a long game, and only the consistent survive long enough to achieve it. Consistency is powerful because it compounds. One day of effort may feel small, one action may feel meaningless, but when you repeat it every day, it grows into something unstoppable. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much until you've read hundreds of books. Doing a workout every morning doesn't feel world-changing until you see your body transform into a weapon. Working on your craft for an hour each day doesn't feel significant until you realize you've put in thousands of hours while others wasted their time. That is the quiet magic of consistency. It multiplies results until they become undeniable. The people who fail are not always the weakest or the least talented. They are simply the ones who couldn't stay consistent. They wanted fast results, they gave up when it got hard, and they started over again and again, wasting years in cycles of quitting and restarting. Meanwhile, the consistent person kept moving, even slowly, and eventually left everyone else behind. Consistency doesn't require perfection. You don't need to be extraordinary every day, you just need to refuse to disappear. The smallest step forward, repeated daily, beats giant leaps that are taken only once in a while. When you build consistency, you also build identity. You become someone who shows up, someone who doesn't break promises to themselves, someone who can be relied on. And once you see yourself as consistent, everything in your life changes. You develop confidence because you trust yourself. You develop strength because you know you won't stop. You develop greatness because greatness is nothing more than consistency multiplied by time. So if you want to rise above average, stop chasing perfection and start chasing consistency. Show up every single day, even if it's just a small step. Refuse to miss, refuse to quit, refuse to break the chain. The results won't come overnight, but they will come. And when they do, people will call you great, not realizing that greatness wasn't born in one big moment. It was forged in the countless ordinary days where you simply refused to stop. That is the power of consistency. That is how greatness is built. At the end of the day, everything comes down to this. You have one life, one chance, one shot to become everything you were meant to be. Time is not waiting for you. Every sunrise that passes is one less you will ever see again. Every day you waste is gone forever. You don't get it back. That's why never miss a day isn't just a phrase, it's a way of living, a rule you must carve into your soul. Because missing a day is easy, skipping the work feels harmless, delaying action feels comfortable, but what feels harmless now grows into regret later, and regret is the heaviest weight a person can carry. If you keep missing days, one morning you'll wake up and realize you've missed your life, and that pain will cut deeper than any temporary discomfort of discipline ever could. So decide today, no more wasted time, no more excuses, no more waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. Your dreams will not build themselves. Your future will not hand itself to you. Greatness only bows to consistency. Power only comes to those who demand it from themselves every single day. And when you live this way, when you truly refuse to miss a day, you will become unstoppable. You will rise above the excuses that trap others. You will outlast the competition. You will build momentum so powerful that nothing can stand in your way. So remember this as you walk out today. Success is not about what you do once in a while. Success is about what you do daily. And if you want to win, if you want to conquer, if you want to live without regret, then whatever happens, never miss a day.